Back in December 2008, Peter Max asked us to design an electric replacement for the horse and carriages in New York. Needless to say, we were very excited that Peter asked us to do this. So we presented him with concepts of a horseless carriage designed in the same configuration of the first electric car in the early 1900s. We also presented Peter a version of a horse and carriage with a moving horse in the front and a standard antique electric car design. Now this has been talked about so much today. Unfortunately, due to budgetary issues and other concerns, we were unable to raise the funds required to complete the project. But over the years, we kept in contact with Peter, and we continue to come up with various ways to either raise funds or bring attention to the highly suspect horse and carriage industry. Are you aware that horse and carriages are banned in cities such as London, Paris, Toronto, and Beijing? These cities have long acknowledged that the horse and carriage industry is a long and outdated practice that needs to be put to rest. The movie Blinders was the first full-length documentary to highlight the horrors of the industry, from the horrible living conditions of the horses to the dangers of operating a horse and carriage in a modern city, such as diesel and gas fumes, taxis, pedestrians, traffic, and so on. This movie portrayed all these horrible dangers in stark reality. LLC is an upstart company that is made up of engineers, designers, artists, manufacturers, and entrepreneurs. Our goal is to produce electric horse and carriages for New York City that are safer, humane, and more environmentally friendly than the traditional horse and carriage industry that exists today. With your $5 pledge, we can do it together. The owners of LLC compare the trials of ridding New York City of the horse and carriage industry to the efforts to raise funds for the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. How many people are aware of how money was raised to erect the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty? A little history lesson. In 1883, Joseph Pulitzer was the editor of the World newspaper. He asked residents of New York to donate with the promise of having their name published in the newspaper. No matter how small the sum, they were then given credit for helping Lady Liberty stand tall and guiding settlers into this great country. The reason Joseph Pulitzer got involved was Americans just weren't that interested in the project. Money wasn't coming in, and it seemed as though the statue was never going to be erected on the pedestal. Hard to believe, but true. Well, a new generation of children and citizens can do the same thing in 2012, but this time to help all of humanity. Love is encouraging parents of children around the world to donate $5 to this project. I'm a professional stand-up comedian. I have a show called Stand Up for Kids that I perform for elementary school children all over the United States. And I'll tell you one thing about kids. Kids definitely view the world differently than adults. Kids are just happy, they're inertly caring, and they don't want to see anybody or anything get hurt. And that's exactly why they would love the electric horse and carriage that we're creating. It's because it's saving the horses from any harm. Imagine dozens of brightly lit electric horse and carriages trotting through the park. A spectacle that is usually only seen at Disneyland can be seen every evening in New York's Central Park. LLC is encouraging the entire art community in New York City to creatively embrace this project. We'll accept any suggestions from them in making our concept even more exciting. Not only do we see our prototype working in New York, but we wish to take it on a grand tour around the world to cities that no longer have a horse and carriage industry, such as Paris, Toronto, and Beijing. New York City is only our first stop for our electric carriage prototype. Cities that still have traditional horse and carriages on their streets may also love to view our prototype. But this can only get done with your generous pledge. Thank you very much for watching our pitch today. The city alone will not change the practice. Only you and your pledge can do this. The citizens of the world can do this. We hope that you make our dream a reality today. LLC applauds the efforts of the New York City Council and YClass.org, along with other organizations in their push for antique electric vehicles in New York City Central Park. However, we definitely feel that the alternative we created in 2008 is a better and more exciting fit not only for New York Central Park, but for large cities all over the world.